I told her not to go, not quietly, not carefully. I said it straight out, standing in the kitchen like a man trying to hold together the last beam of a collapsing house. You're not going to Marcy's party. Amber turned from the hallway mirror, her lipstick halfway to her mouth, eyes catching the dim kitchen light as if she had just stepped into a frame of a portrait she didn't choose. "Excuse me," she said, voice soft but edged with disbelief. "You heard me. I said, my tone firm, deliberate." The words felt heavy in the air, like the last brick settling in a crumbling wall. She froze mid-gesture, hand still suspended with her lipstick. Her dress shimmered like wet ink under the kitchen light, and for a heartbeat, the world paused. "It's a party, Tyler, not a strip club, not a scandal. Marcy's been my friend for years, and in all those years, her voice trailed, searching, as if she wanted me to fill in the blank. Has she ever hosted a party where people didn't drink until the lines blurred? Where someone's wedding ring accidentally came off?" I said, voice low but unwavering, letting the weight of every word sink into the space between us. Amber rolled her eyes, the flicker of irritation barely contained. "You sound pathetic," she said. "No." I snapped, sharper than I intended. "I sound like a husband trying to keep his wife from walking straight into a situation she's going to pretend wasn't what it was." She laughed then, a short, dry sound that cut through the tension like a brittle shard of glass. "This is why I don't tell you things. You twist everything. I don't need to twist anything." I shot back, "You do it all yourself." Her eyes flashed with something dangerous before she turned away, adjusting the straps of her dress. "You know what your real problem is. You want to control everything. You always have. But news flash, Tyler. I'm not yours to manage." I stepped forward, the distance between us collapsing with the weight of every word. "You're right, you're not mine to manage, but you are my wife, and if you walk out that door tonight, just know I'm watching, not with anger, with clarity, because this isn't about a party, it's about the choices we make when no one's stopping us." She crossed her arms, a dare glinting in her eyes. "You done with the speech?" "No." I said, quieter now, letting my tone shift, almost intimate, almost impossible to ignore. "But you're clearly done listening." She grabbed her clutch and headed for the door. "Halfway there," I said, "if you walk out like this, don't expect me to wait up, not anymore." Amber paused, hand on the knob. Her voice dripped poison as she turned back. "Maybe you shouldn't have married someone like me if you wanted quiet nights and thank you notes. And maybe," I said, voice steady, "you shouldn't have married someone who notices everything." She blinked once, then she was gone. The door closed gently behind her, but the sound echoed like glass cracking under pressure. I stood alone in the kitchen, the hum of the refrigerator the only noise left. My arms hung at my sides, fists slowly unclenching. This wasn't the first time she pushed a boundary, but tonight felt like she crossed a line she couldn't uncross. Out there, Amber was all sparkle and laughter. But here, in the kitchen we built together, all that shimmer felt like a lie. And I wasn't about to let it go unchallenged anymore. By 7:00 p.m., the house was quiet. No messages from Amber, not even the courtesy of a check-in. I didn't expect one. I walked into my office, the warm lamplight highlighting the organized chaos of client files, and tapped the screen of my phone. A name hovered at the top of my recent calls. Kayla. She was my assistant at the agency. Smart, quick, a bit loud for my taste, but reliable and, above all, loyal. She owed me more than a few career breaks, and tonight I was calling in a favor. She answered on the second ring. "Hey, boss, everything okay?" I paused for just a second. "Can you come by the house tonight?" There was a beat of hesitation, then casual acceptance. "On my way," she said. By the time Kayla arrived, the sun had dipped low behind the trees, leaving streaks of orange across the kitchen floor. She stepped in wearing ripped jeans, a cropped sweater, and a perfume that hit like a sledgehammer. Sweet, cloying, and impossible to ignore. "Wow," she said, stepping into the kitchen, eyes darting around. "Didn't expect this vibe." I smiled faintly and handed her a cutting board. "We're cooking." Kayla blinked. "Oh, okay. Cooking what?" "Steak, roasted vegetables, red wine," I said, slicing bell peppers with precision. "So romantic." She laughed, nervous and too loud, and that was the point. Comfort wasn't what tonight was about. This was about discomfort, about presence, about optics. You trying to make someone jealous. I'm trying to remind someone what clarity looks like. I said, meeting her eyes just long enough to let the message settle. We cooked quietly after that. I seared the steaks while Kayla peeled carrots with uneven strokes, occasionally asking about a client file or cracking jokes that didn't quite land. Her laugh bounced off the cold tile, louder than needed, precisely the way it should. We ate at the dining table, the same one Amber and I had picked out together 2 years ago from a boutique store in Palo Alto. I wondered if she'd noticed the wine glasses from our wedding set. Kayla chewed slowly, unsure of what exactly she was participating in. I didn't offer details. After dinner, she followed me upstairs. No intimacy, no ambiguity, just presence. Just optics. She climbed into the bed fully clothed, phone in hand, chatting about a conference we were planning next month. I sat beside her, still dressed, sipping water. It wasn't cozy, it wasn't flirtatious, it was a performance with the curtains drawn. Around 3:00 a.m., the real show began. The door flung open hard enough to rattle the frame. Amber stood in the doorway, hair a mess, mascara streaked, heels in one hand, a half-empty bottle in the other. Her mouth opened, then froze. "What the hell is this?" she demanded. Kayla blinked slowly, deliberately. "You must be Amber." Amber's voice cracked like glass. "Get out of my house." Kayla raised a brow. "You disappeared for hours without a word, and now you're mad he didn't sleep alone." Amber's eyes burned into mine. "So this is your game now, tit for tat." I didn't flinch, no game, just a mirror. She took a shaky step forward. "You want to humiliate me. You humiliate yourself every time you ignore the line and call it freedom," I said, voice cold, surgical. Her lip trembled. "You don't get to play the victim when you're lying in our bed with her." Kayla stood, brushing imaginary crumbs off her lap. "I think I'll go now." I nodded. "Thank you." She left without another word. Amber stood frozen in place, trembling with rage. But what broke her wasn't my silence. It was the cold in my eyes. "You don't even care, do you?" she whispered. The truth was, I didn't, just not in the way she expected. The front door slammed hard enough to shake the picture frames. It was 3:07 a.m. Amber stumbled in, heels barely clinging to her feet, one hand holding a bottle, the other gripping the hallway frame. Her eyes were glassy, makeup smudged into tired bruises under each lash, and her dress hung off one shoulder like it had lost the will to stay upright. She paused just outside the bedroom door, hesitating, sensing something she didn't want to admit. Though truthfully, I had been waiting. Kayla sat up slowly, blinking at the intrusion. Fully dressed, phone in hand, blankets draped casually over her knees, she gave no indication of panic. I leaned against the headboard, legs stretched, a paperback resting unread on my chest. The room was a tableau designed for maximum effect, not sexual, just intimate in the wrong way. Amber's voice split the silence like a blade. "What the hell is this?" "You must be Amber," Kayla said, tone light, almost amused. Amber's jaw tightened like a spring ready to snap. "I leave for one night and you bring some trash into our bed." Her words wobbled with rage or vodka. I couldn't tell. "Trash," Kayla repeated, cocking her head. "Girl, you vanished all night without a single text. If anything, I'm the cleaner." Amber's face turned crimson. "Get out now." Kayla rose, deliberate, brushing shoulders as she passed. "Enjoy your hangover," she said, her voice calm and measured. The front door clicked quietly behind her. Amber stormed inside, fists clenched. "What the hell is wrong with you?" I didn't move. I said, deliberate. "You walked out in a glitter dress to chase strangers. You're unbelievable. I'm just finished pretending you don't know what you're doing." She laughed bitterly. "So what? This is revenge. You couldn't wait a single night without proving some ridiculous point." I stood now, measured, slow. "You just didn't notice." Her voice rose, trembling. "You brought her into our home, into our bed." "No," I said coolly. "I invited a witness to what? To your absence." For a second, the room fell silent. Even the hum of the AC seemed to disappear. Amber's eyes darted around, searching. grasping for anything, but there was nothing left to anchor herself to. "You don't get to rewrite history, Tyler," she said, voice trembling. "I've been patient with your control, your rules, your quiet little ultimatums. I've been patient with your disrespect." I said, voice calm. "With the way you treat trust like an optional setting. I didn't cheat. You disappeared for hours. You came home drunk, looking like you danced through a fire. What am I supposed to believe?" "That I needed space," she whispered, "then rent an apartment," I said, sharper than intended. Her eyes widened, as if she might storm out, but she stopped halfway. "You used her to humiliate me. That's low, even for you." "No," I said. "What's low is pretending fidelity while treating marriage like an afterthought." For the first time in years, I saw fear in her eyes, not fear of me, but fear that I meant what I said. I walked past her, voice quiet but heavy. "You can lie to yourself all you want, Amber, but don't expect me to keep lying with you." I left her standing in the room, barefoot, breathless, and without a single thing left to say. The next morning, the sun felt too bright for the tension in the air. We were at Kyle and Jenna's backyard, the kind of suburban party where the grill was always hot, sunscreen and burgers mixed with faint whispers of resentment. It was a toddler's birthday party. I hadn't planned to come, but Amber insisted. "People talk," she said, eyes sharp behind oversized sunglasses. She floated between circles, wine glass never empty, laughter too loud. A performance rehearsed over months. Then, suddenly, she did it. Loud enough to pause 3 conversations. "Has everyone met Tyler's new assistant?" The air shifted. I turned, Kayla smiled, eyes glinting, pretending casual sweetness while the tension rolled over her like a tide. Amber continued, voice sugary. "Tyler's got a type, and apparently it's women who giggle at spreadsheets and mispronounce Cabernet." Someone coughed. Someone else looked at their shoes. I stayed still. Amber added dramatically, "He spent a decade married to me. Quiet dinners, loyalty, all that boring stuff. But the first time I go out for a drink, suddenly he's got blondes in my bed. How fast?" Mighty fall, right? A sharp, unexpected voice cut through. "That's rich coming from you." Amanda, one of Amber's oldest friends, stood nearby, arms crossed. Ice under velvet. Amber's face changed immediately. Amanda didn't blink. "Throw stones, fine. But maybe don't do it from the same glass house you were grinding strangers in at Marcy's club last Friday." Gasp. Collective silent. Amber's jaw dropped. "Amanda, you were drunk." Amanda stepped forward, calm, deadly, letting a stranger wrap an arm around her while she giggled. "I was. You sure didn't act innocent." I didn't need to say a word. I turned to Amber, voice flat. "Is that true?" Color drained from her cheeks. Eyes darted, panic crawling across her skin. "You always said you were better than the girls at those clubs, but you sure didn't act like it." Amber turned away, pale, movement quick. The show was over. I lingered near the side fence, watching shadows shift between citronella candles and string lights, waiting for Amanda to slip away from the noise. She glanced at me warily. "Tyler, can we talk? Just a minute," she said, side gate quiet. I leaned against the fence. "What you said back there, was it all true? Everything?" Amanda exhaled slowly. I wasn't planning to say anything, but the way she tried to flip the narrative, mock you, humiliate you, I couldn't watch it. "Tell me what you saw," I said. Late, she recounted Amber at Marcy's club. Tight dress, drinks in hand, dancing with men, sitting in a booth, flirting, touching, leaning, and worse, kissing. I stayed near the back. Amanda said, "I didn't want to cause a scene, but it wasn't innocent, Tyler, not even a little." I nodded slowly. "But now you have. Because you deserve to know who you're actually married to." Someone needed to say it out loud. Amber's been spiraling. "You just finally made her look in the mirror." Her words hit like slow thunder, inevitable, unstoppable. I gave a tight nod. "Thanks for being honest." The next step was obvious. Club Velvet in the daylight looked like a stub of regret. Black tout windows, plastic cups littering the curb. Inside, low lights, dim booths, the faint smell of stale liquor and cleaner. I confronted the manager, short, slicked back hair. "Tyler Grant, I need to see security footage from Friday night." I said, "No." He replied calmly, privacy policy, protect our patrons. I offered a business card, my agency work, discreet, legal. Still, he refused. Understand this is more than curiosity, right? I pressed. If my marriage depended on club footage, I'd say the truth was already obvious. He replied flatly. No cameras in the booth area. Just silence, but silence, I realized, spoke volumes. Amber had been there. She had done something. Amber was already home when I returned. Her car perfectly aligned beside mine. The first sign something was off. Garlic, rosemary, chicken dinner. She was cooking, hair tied back, modest blouse, necklace I hadn't seen in years. Dinner's almost ready, she said, too easy, too controlled. I blinked, no words, no comment. She moved with practiced domesticity. I sat quietly, letting her effort fill the kitchen with the illusion of normalcy. The next days were a delicate masquerade. Amber became perfect wife, dinners every night, precise lines on white plates, cozy sweaters, candles lit, laughter too sharp, too rehearsed. She tried to rewind time. I let her perform while I quietly documented, letting proof accumulate. Wednesday night, chicken marsala. Added more cream, she said softly. I chewed slowly, thinking, a warmed-up dinner doesn't fix betrayal. She faltered. I didn't explain. I didn't need to. Years of choices of deceit were already caught in evidence, captured in preparation for the inevitable. The videos arrived. Amber's walk into Club Velvet, laughter, ease with another man, booth intimacy. Kisses deliberate, hungry, familiar. Cloud backup footage, corroborated by a waitress's shaky phone recording. Clear, damning. I set the phone on the counter without a word. Amber froze, color drained from her face like a film bleeding out. It meant nothing, she said, trembling. No, I said, one night is all it takes to rewrite everything. She dropped her hands. What happens now? I'm filing, Nate's preparing affidavits, Kayla will sign, the videos speak for themselves. She staggered, whispering, this isn't who we are. This is exactly who you are. I said, courtroom sterile, clinical. Amber across from me, hair tight, muted gray, mask of composure. Nate presented footage, affidavits, timestamps, corroboration. The judge's gavel fell, divorce granted. Settlement in my favor, fidelity breached, evidence indisputable. Amber's eyes filled with disbelief, not fury. Silence conveyed the truth louder than any words ever could. 3 weeks later, a jazz bar in Palo Alto. Nate slid into the booth. Music poured like velvet smoke. I felt lighter, freer. You did everything right, he said. Truth handled that for me, I replied. We toasted clarity, control, slow justice. Around us, strangers flawed, open, human. Freedom wasn't fireworks, it was the quiet click of a door closing behind you, finally making sense. The end.